Brandy in Brazil asks an interesting question, and she begins it with a statement. It is wrong to assume that because someone lives through brutal trauma in the womb and goes through trauma in childhood, that such a person has a personality disorder. How do you justify labeling people like that? That mindset is more repulsive. I'm interested in what you have to say. Brandy, I assume that you've watched some of our exorcisms on YouTube or DVD, and you're concerned about those instances in which I deal with people who have multiple alternative personalities, alter ego states, which we call alters for short. And most of these alter states were created in some kind of trauma or unfortunate experience of the past. So nothing that I ever do in that area is ever designed to offend someone. So let's talk about language for a moment. First of all, the correct name is dissociative identity disorder, but it's known in popular parlance as multiple personalities, or as I said, we just call them alter states. Now, perhaps one of the difficulties you have is if you are focused on that word disorder, dissociative identity disorder, as if disorder means the person is bad, or they are mentally ill, or there is something wrong with them. And that's not truly what the word means. Look, the American Psychological Association came up with the word, I didn't. I would prefer to say disarranged or compartmentalized. In other words, it doesn't mean that the person is bad or that there's something wrong with their brain. In fact, people who dissociate as a result of trauma are often very intelligent and very creative and have the mental power to be able to do that. You see, someone who has compartmentalized emotional and mental states or identities really is exercising a wonderful gift of God on a temporary basis to deal with the trauma. Of course, the ultimate solution to emotional integration of the soul and mind is through a relationship with Jesus Christ, through inner healing work, and through deliverance that takes out the introjected evil that is exacerbating the situation. But simply put, Brandy, here's how it works. When someone has a very severe trauma that is overwhelming to the mind and emotions, be it prenatally, in childhood, or at some time later in life, the mind has a need to disconnect from it. So that prenatal child, that infant, or even that older adult, can't necessarily keep thinking about the bad thing that has happened, can't focus on it, can't allow it to stop them from functionality. So what they do is just take that thought, that memory, the emotions of that experience, and set it aside into a separate identity, something which is now disarranged. And so it allows the core, sentient part of their identity to continue functioning in a reasonably healthy way with the bad stuff sitting over here, just like another computer file folder with a separate bit of information. I hope you understand what I'm saying. And you recognize that this is a gift of God for survival. It is not an indictment that there is something terribly wrong with this person and that they are bad and that they are mentally ill and that they are disordered in the sense that they're not as good as anybody else, nor as functional, nor as intelligent as anybody else. When I deal with someone who has a separate personality state, that's the result of trauma. I'm simply trying to get them healed and set free so I can get to the demonic forces which are manipulating those other alter personality states. Because often those alter states live a lie. They are believing something which isn't true. And that belief may even be that the person is bad. And we need to change the thinking of that alter state so it's no longer negative and it's no longer a place where sin and demonic principles can operate. So through a spiritual healing process, we seek to resolve that negativity so the demon can't hold on to that alternative part of the person. Now, this can be a long process involving professional therapy and an integration procedure that takes some time. But my purpose is to, as quickly as possible, find out what the abuse is, see why there is a separateness of the soul, bring the healing of Christ to it, and then exorcise the evil spirits. And I hope, Brandy, that explanation helps you to see that I'm not criticizing or indicting or in any way putting down the person who has a multiple personality. In fact, I want them to know that God has allowed this to happen for their ultimate healing, freedom, and deliverance. The most frequent demon that I deal with is the spirit of Jezebel, the most prevalent evil spirit of our age. This demon wants to destroy your health, your finances, your marriage, your family, and your church. Learn the tactics of Jezebel throughout history and in the time in which we live. My book, Jezebel, Defeating Your Number One Spiritual Enemy, is your key to overcoming this demon, which is more prevalent than at any time in human history. Get your copy today. Jezebel, Defeating Your Number One Spiritual Enemy.
He took the curses away from me. Was he Bob Larson? Because he can help you.
If your life isn't all that it should be, if relationships aren't working, if your health, your finances, or your spiritual life are unhappy, schedule a personal one-on-one encounter with me. We'll get to the root of the issues that are holding you back. We'll give you answers and a whole new direction in life.
Oh, what a change, what a difference when you have an encounter with God.
Take action. I look forward to seeing you soon.
We encourage your support for this worldwide outreach to do what Jesus did. For the latest information on resources, seminars, conferences, training institutes, retreats, and international missions, go to boblarson.org. Thank you for your prayers and financial partnership.